Language exists in almost everything we do, right? And yet when we study it at home, in a classroom, online, maybe preparing for an exam, how much of this life experience are we truly accessing? Now, I believe that theatre work, drama, acting can open up areas of language that other forms of study simply cannot reach. And it does this through play. So imagine children playing in a playground, using our imaginations and giving us the freedom to speak with an emotion and an expression that aren't normally available. My name's Hugh Illingworth and I run Act English courses. This is a program designed to help you boost your English using everything that drama and theatre have to offer. Now, I want to talk about 5 ways that I really think this kind of play in theatre work can help you with language learning. But to help explain this in a broad sense, I want to talk about an example from my everyday life that makes this connection. I was born in Bristol in the southwest of England. And when I was 19, I moved 220 miles north to the county of Yorkshire, or God's own country as it's known by the locals, and to a town called Bradford. Now, everyone knows you don't have to travel far in the UK for not only accents to change dramatically, but dialect as well. So we have languages within language. Of the many differences I discovered, one that stood out was the exclamation hellfire, or variations of that, like chuffing hellfire, or more common and profane, fucking hellfire. Used like a lot of curse words, these showed surprise or anger. To me and friends not from the area, this sounded quite old fashioned, unnatural, and quite comical. So we started imitating it, using the accent, using it ironically and performatively. Fucking hellfire, what time do you call this? Then, after a few months, I left the house, and when I realised I'd forgotten my keys, I said, chuffing hellfire. But this time it was instinctive. I was no longer playing with the line or performing it, it had become part of my everyday speech. It had come from the gut. So that's what acting and theatre work can do. We access the language through performance and play, and then we connect to it on a deeper level. So let me break down these 5 areas where theatre work can really make this happen. Role play, or acting out a pretend situation, may well be something you've done in a classroom before. We do this in theatre mostly through improvisation, but also through plays and scene work. What it does is it gives us this opportunity to access a range of situations and all the language that we then need to deal with it. And this isn't just ordering food in a restaurant or asking the way to the train station, but maybe planning a bank robbery or taking over the universe or hosting a party for the King of Denmark. The opportunities and possibilities are pretty much endless. Speech, or you could say oratory, is really where pronunciation gets its boost. This is particularly true of stage acting, where strength and clarity of voice is really important to the actor to make sure that they're fully heard and understood by their audience. So exaggeration, stress, using the right intonation and phonetics may well be things that you need to work on to make sure that you can be fully heard. There's a lot of voice work in acting that can really help you here, but there's also the physicality and movement which really connects to voice. None of this is about trying to get you to change your accent or to make you speak with a particular form of pronunciation like received pronunciation. It's really just about helping you make sure you work on your personal issues and can be fully understood by your listener, much as any actor would. Now, hopefully a lot of this work can spill over and continue when you're speaking in your everyday speech down the pub or with friends. Contrary to a lot of popular belief, many actors are in fact introverts, and acting gives them this opportunity to express themselves in ways that they can't in everyday life. So if you're quite a shy person, using a second language may be more of a challenge. But what if you were using it as a different character? This opens up new forms of expression. We can change our physicality and our physical movement. We can change our facial expressions. We can change our voice. we can use the language through a different body. Your job is to convince your audience that you can use these words confidently, and that may actually be easier when it's not you using them. What I really love about scripts isn't just that they present us with language and allow us to explore language in different contexts used by different people and in different places, is that it gives us the spoken word on the page, combining reading, speaking and listening together. When we look at scripts, we're going to be using language that isn't natural to us. And this can be true in our own language as much as others. See Chuffing Hellfire, for example. And then what we'll have to do if we're leading up to performance is use a lot of repetition. And crucially, we will need to memorize those lines. Meaning a lot of that language may last well beyond the performance. And finally, we come on to emotion. Now, there's so much that we could discuss when it comes to the relationship between language and emotion. So I'll stick to the basics. Now, I've played a lot of recreational football in my time. And normally when I play, it's with quite an international group of players. So when someone makes a mistake or scores a great goal and they want to express their emotional reaction to that, it's nearly always their first language that comes out. I think Italian is my favourite version of this. So when we express sadness, anger, excitement, frustration, whatever it may be, it's an instinctive thing. And so the words that we find are the most instinctive words. It's very difficult to move to a situation where you're using a second language to express those emotions. What theatre can give us through method acting, through plays, through character work, is a way of accessing our emotions and then using the language that's appropriate. For me, scripts are most useful with this because you have to be a bit cautious with emotion to not bring it in too soon. I think the discipline around the language and using it correctly does need to come first. I'll speak a bit more about this when I talk about the different acting courses and theatre work opportunities that you can take and which of these advantages are most prominent and which of the courses offer the most challenges and the most opportunities. So please subscribe if you want to hear more about that, and acting courses and doing some theatre work yourself is something that interests you.